Welcome. Welcome. This is Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres in lovely Marion, Michigan. And today's Friday, the 27th of May, 2022. I'm your host coming to you tonight with the Anyone Can Farm live chat. Friday night is our new combination open line and question and answer night. We deleted Wednesday, which is really where we began, was the Wednesday night Q&A. And now we've deleted that. And so we're only going 4 days a week. And so this is going to be our third day this week because Monday didn't happen because I had a piano recital. But I would just ask if you have questions, farming related questions or homesteading related questions or anything else you want to talk about, you put them in all caps so I kind of get the picture. That's what's going on. I don't see anybody in the chat yet, but we don't really have a big crowd yet. If anybody can chat, go ahead. Let me just see if it's working. Well, I still don't see anything, but if it isn't working, that's fine. All right, so the day around here today, okay, I guess it is working. Inga's with us and Crunchy Mama's. All right, Crunchy Mama. Working with the Polson man there, I see. I bet you that was interesting. He's an interesting guy. Today around here, we had some pretty decent weather. Fridays are our chicken processing day. So we hit the ground running this morning and just finished up about an hour ago, completely finished up. My job was done I was probably the first one done because I'm the killer outside. I don't know how many chickens we had today. Quite a few. All right, Brian spoke highly of me. Wow, that's good. That's good. I haven't seen him in quite a few years. But maybe now that you've established contact, we'll be seeing him again sometime. That'd be cool. Let's see. Anything out of the ordinary today? Not really. It was a pretty standard day of chicken processing. We had one intern type person working with us today, and but everything went pretty smooth, really pretty smooth. And then I had some people come by that wanted to look into the herd shares program, not because they needed milk, because they wanted to get into doing herd shares. So they wanted to sell raw milk. And so we had a little sit down, and then I showed them around the farm. Real nice people. Another serviceman, the guy's a Marine, has been out for about 7 years, I guess. So we had a nice time. I always like to help out other servicemen if I can. Really, I like to help anybody, but it's always kind of nice to help another serviceman. We seem to speak some of the same language, which is really nice these days. I really appreciate it. This, I got out in 2004. 22. This is 22. And 04. So I'm out 18 years. Is that right? 12 minus 4 is 8. 2 is 1. 18 years. 18 years I'm out of the service. Hard to believe. So I'm coming up on being out as long as I was in. That's a really interesting concept. Being in the service that long, it just becomes part of you. And sometimes I don't even realize that I'm out, honestly. Except there's people aren't wearing. Yeah, my kids would say you've got dementia because people are not wearing uniforms around you. All right. Well, it was a good day today, and I look forward to answering your questions here. I do not have any questions stacked up. A couple of things that are coming is next month we have a pastured poultry day. Let's see. I'm not sure of the date of that, but I should be, right? I wonder if that will just come right up. Pastured Poultry Day, that should be kind of fun. And then the month after that is going July, is going to be our Tribe Day, which that'll also be a lot of fun. Let's see. July 9th is Tribe Day, and it's June 11th is the Pastured Poultry Day. That was a fun class too. I think Jill's taken in about 6 or so. Last I heard, it's quite full, right? So that's a fun day. It's a kind of a full day type thing. Yeah, Dion's saying he's excited for Tribe Day. I am as well. Actually, the campground opens up today. I don't think we had a reservation, so I'm good to go. I don't have anything to do over there until tomorrow. That's kind of nice. And actually, tomorrow I have some things that I need to do with my kids. So I don't know as I'll be over there mowing or anything else tomorrow. So if people do show up, they'll be on their own, which is okay. We'll work around it. Excuse me. All right. Tribe Day is going to be a humdinger this year. We're kind of thinking, because we've had so many people offer to share skills and do classes, that we're kicking around the idea of having a skills sharing day the next day, which is Sunday. And haven't quite finalized that yet, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We have plenty of room next door, and there'll be plenty of area mowed out where, people could do demonstrations and things like that. One of the guys was Parker. He just got back from working down at Polyface, and he bought himself a mill, a lumber mill. And so he said he would love to demonstrate sawing lumber. And I think that would be a fascinating thing to get an idea of what goes into that, because I really don't know. I've actually never done it. I know several people that have mills, but I have just never been there when they're doing it. So I have not seen it. So that ought to be kind of fun. All right. Crunchy, you were one of the ones you wanted to show how to reload a certain type of round, I think, is what I heard. And there was just no room in on Saturday. So there's a little bit more interest. There's 2 people leaning for it. Isn't that a tremendous thing? You've got people that want to help. So here's what I'm thinking about Tribe Day. I've already had several people. Oh, I want to help. I'm going to get there early to help you guys set up. And sometimes I'm like, no, don't, because I need to be on my feet and thinking and moving. But I think I'm going to be prepared for it this time. So when people show up and they say, hey, what do you want me to do? I'm going to pull a list out of my pocket and say, do you know anything about this? No. Do you think you can do it? Yes. Okay, go talk to him. Or I'm going to send people to you, and you detail them out as you see necessary, because it seems as though we're going to have a much bigger crowd this year. So things that were not a big deal last year, I mean, we had 85 people, but people just kind of parked. They just kind of parked. We didn't have anybody directing them in or doing anything like that. So maybe this year we'll have to have like a parking monitor, right? And you be the one that says, this way, ma'am, this way. Or we'll have, I don't know. But we definitely are going to have, we're definitely going to have a children's person that's going to direct this group and this group and this group, which last year was very ad hoc, and we had a lot more kids than we thought we were going to. So some of the parents could not actually get in to the blocks of instruction as much as they would like to, because you had, little kids with you. I mean, we did the best we could, and it was good, but I know that there were several parents that were just kind of watching everybody else going into these classes, and they couldn't really participate as much as they wanted to. There was one gal, I watched her for a while, and I thought, why don't I just intervene there and see if her little boys want to come with me? She had these two little guys, and they were active, like 6 and 4. And I said, hey, why don't you guys come with me? So we got in the Jeep and went riding around, and then we pick up the Thornburg kids. They jumped in, and we had a good time. They just had a high old time. I didn't actually teach any class, so it was kind of fun. I just kind of stood around and drank coffee all day and talked to people, which is what I do best. But this year I got to teach a biochar class, and I will certainly have fun doing that. But what I'll have to do is get it going early in the morning, because I'd like it if it was flaming off as people were in the class, because it's pretty impressive to see it go. Well, we'll see. Amy B says, sounds like something Scott with Bards FM would like, the sawmill. Did he mention something about that? It'd be kind of cool if we could get him out here for Tribe Day. But it's a long way. That's Oregon. And, you got to get on a plane. Who wants to do that these days? I don't know if we got the Resistance chicks coming or not. I'm going to be on their show Tuesday. It's going to be a Zoom show, and we will make it so that we can share it with you all, right? I think we can do that. If not, then we will share it on another day. But I don't see why we couldn't do that. I think somebody can figure out how to do that. It's their show, but we would want our people to be able to get in and see it. And it's going to be me, Kira Wadman, Scott Kesterson, and the Resistance Chicks. And it's supposed to be about preparedness. And I think that's kind of interesting, because what we're hearing about now is food shortages. Every time you turn around, food shortages. So people they're getting ready. They're laying in supplies, and they are getting smart about different processes that are going to benefit them in these times. So I don't know. I think it's a good thing that people are reacting in a positive manner, but we will have to see what's going to happen. I got a long thing today from a friend, and it was about certain circumstances throughout our country that could cause some serious problems. And when I'm reading it, I think back to Y2K. Okay, so in Y2K, the word was that when they started making computers, they only went to 1999. And that when it clicked over to 2000, the computers weren't built to do that. And, there was just going to be chaos. There was going to be satellites falling out of the sky, jetliners crashing into buildings, dogs and cats, and all kinds of stuff going to be happening. And I thought, well, that's true. I mean, the Air Force was even taking some measures to prevent any kind of problems. And I remember saying to my wife's grandfather, do you know about this? And maybe we should do something. And he says, hey, listen to me. He says, there's a lot of people getting paid a lot of money to keep stuff like that from happening. So don't you worry about it. And he was absolutely correct. So this engineered chaos that we see happening right now, they always have the media, and then these stories always come out, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to give it too much credibility. I mean, I think we should always be prepared for the next season. We should always be prepared for natural disasters, things like that. And I think that everything that we've seen in the last couple of years, plus what I've seen in the 20 years before that, leads me to believe that, you know what? We need government in our lives to be about as relevant as professional sports teams. That's where really where we need them to be. Like, why are we looking to them to solve these problems? They don't solve anything. They create problems most of the time, right? Because it's mostly self-serving people that go there. And, I realize you could have those same type of people out here in the perimeter, trying to take advantage of, farmers and homesteaders and stuff. But generally, there's not that much fat for them to scam. So that's why they wind up in the state capitol and places like that, Washington, D.C. So that's one of the things that I think we're going to hear a lot of coming up is once you people realize that you need to be self-sufficient and do not rely on any of these entities, like any of the entities that held you at the door because you didn't have a face mask on, do not do business with them now if you can help it. And I know that's not easy, but don't willingly go running back to them because, in my opinion, what they did was the bidding of just this tyrannical, evil group. Not all government, but this little tiny group that got in there that has really shown who they are over the last couple of years and really worn out their welcome. So any of the entities, any of the stores and restaurants and stuff, not so much restaurants. That's a tough one. It's hard for a restaurant to resist that because they're under the gun of the health department and the Department of Agriculture, basically. But they could have. I mean, there was a restaurant here down on the highway that never closed. And when we found out about that, we went down there to have lunch just because. It's not our kind of restaurant, really, but we went just to support them because they stayed open. And at the time, we didn't know if it was ever going to open back up. You kind of thought it would, but there was no light at the end of the tunnel at that time. And I remember talking with the waitress and saying, "Hey, we're only here because you guys have bucked the system and we appreciate it." And she was like, "Yeah, everybody says that." And, but some of the stores that stayed open at the behest of the government because they were essential, but other stores were closed, I have a real problem with that. Where does a government say who is essential and who is not? And all of their employees got to stay home the whole time, and they got paid. So how essential are they if they were able to stay home? And I don't think they're very essential. So we got to watch this all real time. So let's see what happens. Okay, Amy B says we need more self-reliance, not government reliance. I mean, we don't want to rely on the government. No, the government was never put in place for us to rely on them. No, they were never there for that. And that's why I believe most of the departments that exist in state government should just go away. They should just go find real jobs. Department of Agriculture, I think, should be cut down to about 1/10 of the people that they have, and they should only be there to track production, not sway production. Just track it so they can give an accurate report to the governor, so the governor has an idea of what's happening, right? And that is part of their function, but they've gotten into they've become a regulatory body. We never wanted that. We never asked for that, right? As a citizenry. They've just decided, well, we need to do this because, well, food safety and farming safety. And look at the food safety. I mean, you think when food is tainted, you have people dropping over dead. What about the epidemic of obesity in this country? That is slow death, and that's attributed to the food. Where is the Department of Ag on all of that? Giving reports to the governor about what are the foods that are making Americans sick. Where is that? I don't see it. I don't see it. And like I've said many times before, we got the so-called commander-in-chief comes out and says, well, we're going to have a food shortage. But where's the Department of Ag? Where are they? Are they coming together and saying, we need to solve this problem? We're the Department of Ag. We can solve this problem. And all we have to do is ask, like we're at war, and all they have to do is say, okay, can you guys do this? Can you guys do this? Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. And we'll keep everybody fed. No, they're not doing that. They're saying, maybe you shouldn't have chickens in your backyard because it could cause the Wu flu, or it could cause this or something like that. They make things up. You shouldn't have chickens in your backyard because it'll cause monkeypox, right? Yeah, food shortages will save lives by curbing obesity. That's probably completely incorrect, because the type of food that will be, distributed out will be something that somebody processes so somebody can make a pile of money off of it. There's always some sort of motive here. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think it's exciting times, because whether there's real food shortages or not, it puts a challenge down in front of us. It kind of throws the gauntlet down and says, okay, what are you going to do? And I think way too many people look to the government and say, okay, what are you going to do? You better do something, or else we're going to go hungry. When you really don't need to look to them. You need to look within and say, okay, what can I do? How can I get myself educated in order to be able to, fend off starvation? How do I fend that off? And there's many, many ways. And we've been talking about that for a couple of years here. So that's the point. Okay, it is open line, so we can surely talk about your guys' stuff tonight, and I can answer some questions, or you can throw the questions out there to the universe, and maybe an answer will come in that will help you along your journey in homesteading. But that's what we're here for, and I'd like it if somebody would indulge me with a question. Actually, Dion, why don't you ask me something hard? Or just ask something to really stir it up. How about that? No, I never raised guineas. Never did. And I'll tell you this, I know about guineas. People bring them here so we can process them. And they're always the first to die because they make a lot of noise. And it's not even a pleasant noise. I would take geese over guineas. That's what I know about guineas. We did eat one time, and it was pretty good. Yep, pretty good. Did I tell you guys last week on processing day, a lady pulled in, and I saw her pull in, and she had a face mask on, and I'm like, oh, great. And I went out there, and because Rachel came in and said, can you come help me with this lady's chickens because her husband's afraid of dogs? And when I went out, they were a little bit older, and from her clothing, they were Muslims most likely. And the chickens that they had, they did not want anymore because they're getting ready to leave to go someplace. And so they wanted us to just process the chickens and donate the meat to somebody who needs it, or you can just keep the chickens. And they were really, really nice chickens, laying hens is what they were. The majority of them were Brahmas, and they were young. They had just started laying. And I've never had Brahmas before, but they're white, and then they have kind of a lacy collar around here that's dark brown or black. Really nice looking. And so we got them, and there was probably about 20 of them. I shared some of them with my brother-in-law, and going to share some with my son. But yeah, really nice. Really came out good on that one. Got a rooster, and I already have one, so I got to give him away. All right, Dion's got something for me. I wonder if we shouldn't have another planning meeting about the tribe day, maybe on one of these real hot days, you know. What are some strategies to make our dollars go further with homestead preparedness with the rising price of everything? That's easy. Some strategies. I can share some, but maybe some other people could share a few too. A lot of times when we plant our gardens, we think, this is just fun. We're going to augment our supply of food a little bit, but if we run out of potatoes, we'll just go to the store and get some. But if you go into this season thinking, everything that I grow in this garden might be all that I have. You ever think of that? And then you would say, okay, what has grown really good in this garden in the past? And what has not grown really good? And then if you don't have anything that really did grow good, maybe it would be wise to look into, okay, the location that I'm at, type of soil that I have, what could grow good here? And grow a lot of it. Now, I was down at your house, and I think what I would do is I would plant like 2 or 3 waves of potatoes. You plant a row, and then in 10 days you plant another row, and then in 10 days you plant another row, or maybe 14 days, something like that. That way you don't have to deal with all of them at the same time. You might be able to eat some of them at the end of summer. The new potato crop, I really like them. But then you want to let the tops die, and the potatoes that you're going to be able to store, right? And then look into storage techniques. If you don't have a root cellar, well, then how would you store them? And there's definitely a lot of ways to do it. So those would be dollars that you would not have to spend on potatoes because you grew them. All right. And growing potatoes is not hard. You can go to even potatoes from the store, they spray this stuff on them called no bud, but it seems like they will grow too. But maybe you'd want to go to like the feed store and get seed potatoes, and those are just potatoes from the year before, and you just take them and you cut them up, and you try and make sure that there's an eye in each piece that you're going to plant, and then you make your rows and you get them planted, and you hill up around them, and then they go a little higher, and you hill them up a little higher. Every time you hill them up, you're going to have more potatoes growing, and keep them really well watered, and potatoes are not hard to grow. So is my answer, grow potatoes? I mean, that's partial. That's partially it. I would say grow the stuff that works good and that you can do, right? And then there's all the things that you can grow that you've never grown. You need to start trying it, increase your soils, maybe even consider a little bit of fertilizer, right? Now, we're not really big on chemical fertilizers, but if you have soil that's lacking, maybe you could push that along a little bit. One of the good things that you have going for you, Dion, is you will probably have your butcher shop done by then. And so where you might think about going to the store and buying Hamburg, I think you'd be better off if you saved up a little bit, or you went and bought a cow, and it doesn't even have to be a great cow, and brought it home, used a used cow, right? Brought a cow home, and you're going to have a butcher shop that you can process that cow down And so those are dollars that you not only will not be spending on hamburger and stew meat and some steaks and things like that, you can sell some of it. And when that one's off the floor, do another one, you know. And we know a guy that hauls stuff like that around, and you know him too. And so he may be able to help you out. You may be even able to hook him up with some beef too, right? So that would be a good thing. It's your hedge against this. You and Amy's hedge is that you are butchers, so you don't have to wait for somebody else to butcher an animal for you to utilize it for your family. You're there. You can do that. You could, when your butcher shop is up and functional, you could put a holding pen in. You really could. That's not a bad idea. I've seen where people build holding pens and they make them a certain way that if you just get behind the cows that are in there and they're moving away from you, they'll move themselves right into a funnel. And so long as, you know, when you make the shot on them, you can allow them to dump out into an area where you can pick them up with a cable that hopefully is connected to your center hoisting point, and you can go to work. And if, you know, from what I'm seeing here, you've got a place that's going to be inside, and man, can you process a lot of food in there? You really can. Pigs too. Yep. And beef. So what's another strategy? This is like an investing strategy, but I have always felt this way when it comes to the farm, and really just my life. I felt this way, where I would probably not go buy a shirt like this, brand new from the store. This one was actually given to me. My mother-in-law gave it to me. It's one of my favorite shirts. It's got a couple bullet holes in it. But I would not go get something like this because this shirt probably cost $30 or maybe more, because there's no return. I don't get a return from this, right? I could go to the secondhand store and I could get a shirt like this for $1. And sometimes you can go to the store, the secondhand store, and you can stuff a bag full for $1, right? I get shirts all the time like that. And then if they just get torn up, it's just, okay, I don't even throw them away then. I use them for rags. So what I'm saying is, the strategy that I have lived by is when I have dollars and I'm going to make a purchase with those dollars, they're either going to go to something that is going to give me a return. You know, like I had to get tires for the tractor today. Without the tires, the tractor's not going anyway. One of the tires went, get this. Well, let me finish my whole thing. So I had to spend money today, but it was spending it on an implement that's going to pay me back, right? It's going to make me, I don't really want to say money or dollars, but it's gonna allow me, or it's going to aid me in moving ahead, in making a gain, right? So, for instance, today was our chicken processing day. We generated, we didn't have that much, but in the bottom of I cut off 55-gallon drums. I cut them up at the first ring, plastic ones, and make totes out of them for guts, right? Chicken guts, heads, guts, feet. And then we have a separate one for feathers, right? We have several of these, and I drill holes in them and put a handle on them so we can move guts around. Well, I had one of those that was full, and that's got to go 100 pounds, 110 pounds, I think. And without the tractor, it's pretty hard to get that over where it's got to go in order for the pigs to use it. That's how I dispose of it. The pigs eat it, and they turn it into pork. But without the tractor, I couldn't do it. So the investment that I made on these tires for the front end, tires and tubes, is going to pay me back. I've already chipped down at the $500 I had to spend on those tires today. Yeah, that's how much it cost. Because the guts that I took over to the pigs, that's their feed for the day. So I've already made some money with that tractor. I've already made a gain. So tomorrow I got to go spend some money on the front tires to the lawnmower. Yeah, I got to go get them. Get this. The guy came yesterday. When you have tires go down on the tractor, we don't take the tires off and take it into the place. They have a truck that runs around, and he's got all the tools on it. This kid has been doing it since '97. He told me today. He's been changing tires for Steve's Tire, and super good people. They're right here in McBain. Super good people. I really like them. They just prompt and efficient and nice and everything. So he comes out, and one of my tires is totally flat. And so he says, well, you're going to need a new tire. He shows me it's kind of broken on the side. And he says, this one's not going to work. We can put a tube in it, but it's not going to last you a couple months, and it's going to be down again. He says, the problem is tires are kind of hard to find right now. I said, you're kidding. A tractor tire like this? You would think they're everywhere. He says, nope. I'll see what I can do. And he gets back to me, or his office calls me, and he says, well, we couldn't find the 4-rib ones, but we can find some 3 ribs. Do you want one? You want to go with the 3-rib? And I said, hey, I need the tractor, so I'll take the 3-rib if that's all I can get. So she says, okay. I said, tell you what, if you can find 2, let's have 2. Because if one tire is shot, chances are the other one's not far behind it. And I don't want to get stuck midsummer cutting hay and have a flat tire and they don't have any tires, right? So I figured, let's do it now while we can. The dollars sitting in the bank are just evaluating, but tires on this piece of equipment are going to help me make a gain. So he comes today to put the tires on, and he puts them on and stuff. He's writing up the invoice, and he says, what happened to the tire on the other side? I said, I don't know. He says, well, it was full when I left here last night. So one of them he took off. It was totally shot. The one on the other side, he said, well, it's not far behind it, but it'll probably last for another 6 months. And today he says, that was totally flat when I got here. And I said, really? He says, yeah, I opened it up and it was full of thorns on the inside. So what it was is we cut down a bunch of autumn olive trees, and they were in a pile, and I decided I was going to push that pile with the tractor, and it's got thorns on it about that long, and they went through the tractor tire, believe it or not. They probably wouldn't have if it was a new tire, but these ones were worn down pretty well. So I popped both my front tires on them autumn olives. Yeah, terrible. But it's a good thing I had 2 of them coming, because I would have been without the tractor for another day. And when you're feeding a bunch of cows, round bales, it is very hard to keep up with them without, being able to spear a round bale, take it out there and drop it, and then very hard. Okay, so that's another strategy is my dollars that I'm spending now, I have to get a return on. I have to. And I'm not kidding. If you buy a bag of Fritos, you are not getting a return on that unless you consider a fat belly return. So that's a strategy. Right now is not the time for extravagance. If you feel as though, my kids really need to go see a movie, and you're going to drop X amount on that, think of the hand tools that you could buy with that. And it may seem like, oh yeah, Dad just wants new hand. he just wants shovels and rakes and stuff. He's weird. Well, if those kids are out there having to do this work with no hand tools, it's very difficult, and I don't know where we're going, honestly. No one really, I think the planners would like us to go like a Depression era type thing, because then it's easier for them to get a war going afterwards. And that's what they always do. But I don't know is the public is going to allow it, because the public's not really falling for all of this BS that they're throwing at us. Okay. That's a couple of strategies, D. Another strategy would be partnering. If you can find somebody that you can partner with, how we have been somewhat separated from each other. If you can work together as, families, that's a good thing, because what is that saying? Many hands make light work. So, okay, Vindicti. Ever raise Malay or Shamo chickens? My Muslim friend back in Michigan had them and wants to send me some eggs. No, never heard of them. Never heard of them. Okay, Dion says, thanks for the retired cow idea. We have a contact with a small dairy that has offered us access to buy cows from them. There you go. If need be, sometime, if you remind me, I can sketch something for you on how to build a squeeze, like a squeeze chute, to get inside of your butcher shop. They have what they call a knock box, and you just have a funnel that you get behind a cow and they start going, and it gets narrow and narrow, and then they're in it, and then they get right to the end of it, and then a door closes right behind them, and they're in just a knock box. It's just a box made out of pipe that they can't get out of, and it's strong enough, and then it kind of holds them right where you need them to shoot them. And then once you shoot them, there's a gate on the side that you open, and then they flop out onto the floor, and then you can drop a cable down, pick them up, stick them, let all the blood go down the drain. And that's usually right on the kill floor. And I don't have that set up, but I surely would like it. But we do have a place that we can, I think you were here when we did one, but we run them into the barn, separate them from the other animals before we shoot them. Yeah, and that'll make great Hamburg. A lot of people are under the impression that you must hang a cow for 10 days. No, it's nice if you can, but you don't always have the luxury of doing that. If you don't have a facility that you can do that, then you really can't. But where you're at, so long as the building is closed in, and let's say you were to kill in the fall, and your daytime temperatures aren't going to get like late fall, because you don't want your daytime temperatures to get up too high. You don't want to wake up any flies and have them get on your meat. Maybe even into December, and you're able to hang the whole carcass. You can, and then take pieces off as you have time to process those pieces. I feel like if you can just take the saddle off the back of the cow, you just take the saddle off. I think that's enough. And that saddle can be put someplace where it's cool enough, not too cold that it'll freeze, though. And you can leave it there for 2 or 3 weeks. Okay, Vindicti. I forgot, if you have apple trees, yeah, I got apple trees. But I know you have cedar trees. Yes, I do. We have both, and the apple trees are being hit pretty hard by the apple cedar rust fungi right now. Any tips for fighting it? No, I don't. Gee. I've not even heard of that, but I really don't know what to tell you. Apple cedar rust fungi. No, I can't help you there, bro. I would think the people in your area would have figured something out, like the extension service, that's really their job, right? All right, well, we're heading into the weekend, and I am told that we're supposed to get some pretty nice weather here in Michigan. Let's see. Saturday, 72. Sunday, 82 and sunny. 82 and sunny. Wouldn't that be a nice day for the pool? And then next week, Monday and Tuesday, the high is going to be 90. Yeah. So the pool is open. Jill and I went swimming in it last night after the kids went to bed, and thought that would help us sleep. Don't know. They either spray or just plant resistant types of apples. That's a shame. All right. Well, we don't have a lot of activity tonight. We don't really even have a lot of people. A lot of people must be out enjoying this. That's fine. Let's see if there was anything else that I needed to pass on to you. We had a intern with us today, and he's the son of the director of the homeschool co-op. And she wanted him to come and learn some of the things we're doing, so we put him to work. Nice fella. And today was his second day. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's Memorial Day. Remember, Memorial Day is not, I had somebody say, thank you for your service, but Memorial Day is when we remember the fallen. We remember the fallen on Memorial Day. Isn't it funny how a lot of we have Memorial Day and we have Veterans Day. There's a lot of days dedicated to war, yeah. But it is the day to remember the fallen. All right. That's about it, you guys. I don't have a lot to yak about today, and that's a strange one. Ooh, what's this? Okay. Decoration Day in the South. Decoration Day. I have not heard that. I don't know about that. But it will be the long weekend. It's funny when you're in the farming business, we don't have long weekends. Yeah, what it means around here is there'll be a bunch of people racing up and down the road on those side-by-side four-wheeler type things. They pay like $25,000 for those things just so they can bring them up north and run around on the dirt roads and be a nuisance. Yeah. I keep threatening Dion, saying go visit the cemetery and honor the fallen, and I have kicked around the idea of getting a new uniform and getting it all fixed up with insignia and all that stuff, just so I could put a uniform on and go to the cemetery and render a salute to the fallen. Oh, okay. After the Civil War, they decorated the graves of the fallen. Okay, Decoration Day. All right. John Bigelow, I was just about to chase some downstaters on those dang things. Been ripping on them all day. John, aren't you glad that that's not the high point of your life, is to trailer some $25,000 machine just so you can drive it on dirt roads. You know, like what if like on Memorial Day we drove down into their neighborhoods just so we could be there? You just wouldn't. Yeah, I know. We started seeing them about mid-afternoon today. It's pretty funny, actually. Yeah, I kind of feel I would not. I'm so glad that I don't have the ball and chain of having to live in an area where you can't really have the freedom to do anything at all. But, all right, you guys, I'm going to get going. I hope everybody gets it in line this weekend. Get your preps up. Don't fool around. Don't fool around. Now is the time to take care of business. And if we're completely wrong about it, then you'll have some extra stuff. Anyway, this is Mark from Baker's Green Acres. I'm going to be signing off for now. And everyone have a good Memorial Day weekend. And sayonara.